What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Taking Command with Josh Taylor here on the JTFB YouTube channel. And it is time for free agency. We are just days away. Wednesday afternoon, I think it's like 4 o'clock is when free agency officially starts. So I've decided to put together a list of some realistic options. Nothing like Orlando Brown. I don't see him coming here. Not some, big ticket spending item for Washington or free agency. This is a legit list of some guys that have a good chance that Washington can pursue. And I hope that they do pursue at least one or two of these before we do get to the draft. And to be able to do so, I think we should be hearing something with reconstructing contracts like maybe Logan Thomas or Chase Roullier, or maybe cutting one of those guys like a salary cap cut. That's something I mentioned in my offseason blueprint if you watched that video, but then also on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB. It's just something that I've mentioned as well. I want to upgrade some of these positions, and you're going to have to make some business decisions to be able to do so. So these guys here, I got 5 options. There's some that I really wanted to put on because there's a lot. This is actually like one of the best free agency like markets I can remember in the last few years, especially for like the needs that Washington does have. So I've decided to start with 2 on defense, and I'm not doing a corner. I've said this on Twitter as well, that I think this corner draft class is just way too good to be spending big top tier money on a free agent corner this offseason. And especially in that first round at pick 16 is very likely. And if not, then you can get a really good starter in the second round this year. There's probably about 10 corners that could have a potential first round grade on them that have big time starter potential in the first and second round. So do not spend money on a corner. We did that with William Jackson III. We saw how that went. And it's just trust who you're going to draft. You've been drafting really well, especially DBs. Just stay with that game plan. So the first one I have here is linebacker Kaizer White out of the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a lot of salary cap cuts going on. Losing another guy's TJ Edwards, another linebacker of theirs. So they have a ton of guys that they're going to be losing. They drafted Nakobe Dean last year. So Kaizer White is only 27 years old when the season starts. Really just hitting his peak. He played with the Chargers as well, played the one season with the Eagles. It was a big time pickup for them. They expected him to really be more of a like a rotational guy, and he did rotate at times, but he played well enough that third rounder Nakobe Dean that I was talking about didn't really start at all. He came in a couple times here and there, but Kaizer White was playing so well, he kept Nakobe Dean off the field. And for me, Kaizer White, he's really good in coverage. He's really good in stopping the run, blitzing. So he's one of those do-it-all linebackers. And for me, when I looked at the stats this year, he played in 17 games, obviously, goes to the Super Bowl, big-time starting linebacker for them. Had 110 total tackles, 66 solo, 3 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, had 1.5 sacks. Like I said, just a great coverage linebacker. And Spot Track projects a 2-year, $17 million contract for Kaizer White. It's $8.5 million per year. I think that's very reasonable to have a guy who has experience at that linebacker spot next to Jamin Davis. So, yes, you could draft another guy. There's a bunch that I like this year, honestly. You got Jack Campbell. You've got Dion Henley, Mohamed Diabite. There's a lot of linebackers in this draft that I'm pretty high on, but still, especially if we do lose Cole Holcomb, which there's a chance someone could pay him more, then you need someone that has experience outside right there next to Jamin Davis. I don't want to just throw in some guy and, another John Bostic kind of veteran, but a guy who is, still kind of young. Like I said, Kaizer White, only 27 years old when the season starts. It kind of helps out that linebacker group in an undervalued position. And people saying linebackers don't really matter. So if you think linebackers matter, this is a great option. If you think they don't matter, it's still a good option because you're only spending $8.5 million per year at the spot with a rookie linebacker next to him. And then we got a bunch of really cheap depth. This other linebacker here out of the San Francisco 49ers is a big name. You don't know him right now, but he's a super hot name in the market right now. Aziz Al-Shahir. I have a ton of 49er content creating friends, people at work that are 49er friends are like raving about this guy. I was like, let me check it out. Let me see what he's all about. I really like his game. He's just stuck in a loaded linebacker room. Obviously, they have Fred Warner. Then they got Greenlaw as well. So he came in, and when Greenlaw was hurt, he rotated in, and he just made the most out of every opportunity. He's really hitting his stride right now, hitting that prime spot at 26 years old. He was PFF's number 8 graded linebacker in run defense in 2022 and PFF's number 2 graded pass rushing off the ball linebacker in 2022, getting coached up by D'Amico Ryans, who's now at the Texans. There's a loaded defense that always played to their top potential. There's a big time guy who deserves to start somewhere, honestly. Like I said, he came in, made the most of his opportunities, but he just doesn't have a spot right now on that team. They hate to lose him. Honestly, a lot of 49er fans are like, dude, I really want to keep this guy, but you got to pay other people. And you have your 2 starting guys with Greenlaw and Fred Warner, probably the best linebacker duo in the NFL right now. Spot Track projects him to be around $5 to $6 million per year of a contract. So I could see a 2-year, $12 million contract. I'd be totally fine with that. This guy is once again just a total package linebacker when you look at stopping the run in coverage. And then he can play a little bit everywhere on those linebacker spots. And he's a great blitzer as well. So sign me up for that. A physical, aggressive linebacker who's really smart, learned from one of the best in the league. When you talk about coaching a defense, now he's a head coach. Played Alabama, linebacker at Alabama with a lot of studs, and I think this is a great value pick. You'll get to know this guy very well the next few weeks throughout free agency, and whoever gets him is going to be incredibly lucky. So we looked at the defense. Like I said, I didn't go corner. D tackle edge, not really a need. Like I said, we're not getting James Bradbury at corner or anything like that. We don't need any safeties. So I just wanted to pick 2 linebackers. There's a lot more. Tremaine Pratt with the Bengals. Apparently he's not coming back. Like I said, TJ Edwards is another guy on the Eagles. People are trying to link us to Levante David. That was with the Bucks. But I'm just trying to be realistic with how much Washington's really going to be spending. They don't have a lot. And like I said, I would love for them to reconstruct some things because there's some big time guys that I would like them to pursue. And I'll start with a good value pick and then go to my home run. I guess would be like the big spender on the offensive line that I'm really looking at for Washington this offseason. And we're going to go back to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right guard Isaac Seumalo, 29 years old, career high 74.5 PFF offensive grade in 2022. This guy has played on the line for a little while now, and he's played literally everywhere on that line. So you talk about all the injuries and stuff they dealt with. Isaac came in and just stepped in. And it's funny because I was looking up some videos on him, and one of the first things that popped up was Baldy, how he does his little videos and breakdowns and stuff. And he had some really good film on Isaac. And when they did a special on the Super Bowl, they really pointed out some big time plays by him this season and how good he really was, and really just called him the most underrated player on the entire Super Bowl team. So I think, you look at what we have with Trey Turner, filling that gap in. We can't go back to that. Like, we have to highly improve that right guard spot. And yes, we can do it in the draft, but I would like a guy like this. And Spot Track projects a 2-year, $24 million contract, $12 million per year. Durable guy. Like, that's exactly what we need. You're not guaranteed to get a big time starting right guard in the draft, especially if we do go tackle or corner at that 16 spot and then pick the other one in the second round, or even tight end, which I wouldn't mind at all either, which I'll talk about here in a second. Then like that right guard spot, you're really kind of just banking on a depth guy. Andrew Voorhees was a guy I was looking at like the 3rd, 4th round until he tore his ACL. So we're kind of circling back on that. Like, who's a guy, maybe you do get Peter Skronsky and you can kick him out to guard if you need to. But still, when you look at that right guard spot, I think that is a big time need in free agency for Washington, just based off of what I've seen draft board wise and just going through my mock drafts, how I can see things falling. And I don't really like any of these guys in these later rounds. in that right guard spot. Just to be honest with you, there's a couple like value ones, but I'm not trying to bank on like, hopefully this guy turns into a legit starter. I just don't want to go through those growing pains. I want a guy who can come in right away and contribute and protect Sam Howell or whoever the heck's going to be quarterback. So that's my value pick. And it's still kind of expensive, 12 mil a year, but like it's worth it, especially when you're paying Chase Roulier that much this year coming up. We still don't know anything about him. But my big time spender, yes, it might be boring, but it's not. Once again, when you have a legit foundational center that can protect the quarterback and you're not dealing with injuries and stuff like that. And that's Bradley Bozeman out of the Carolina Panthers. Everyone's like, oh no, another Panther. Oh, I don't want to do that again. No, like I promise you, this is different. I love Bozeman. He played at Alabama. Was with the Ravens for a long time. 28 years old. This is a huge target for the Panthers to re-sign. You look up right now, they're like, all right, we got that number 1 overall pick. We're making some moves. You know, Shaq Thompson's coming back. We're doing things the right way. The next move has to be Bradley Bozeman. And they had a press conference the other day, and they were talking about like how talks are going good. So he might just be coming back. It literally could be announced an hour from now once I release this video that Bradley Bozeman's coming back. But honestly, this is a guy that I'm dying to get. Spot Track projects 12 mil per year contract for him as well. I think it is a huge need. He had one of his best seasons this year. There was one game where he was a PFF grade of like 98, which is the highest by a center in the last, I think it's like 5 years or something like that. Don't quote me. But still just a consistent guy. And we need that center spot. So if we do get rid of a Chase Roulier save, you know, paying him $12.5 million this year coming up, I would much rather have Bradley Bozeman than Chase Roulier next year. It's just business. It's nothing personal. For a guy that's only played 10 games in the last 2 seasons in Chase Roulier, you know, re-sign Tyler Larson, you have that as depth. Yeah, he had an injury last year too, but he's been good when he's had to step up and come in and start. So for me, that would be one of the best free agency signings for us this offseason. And I'll talk about tight end real quick. People know I really like Mike Gesicki, and I think he'd be really good on this team. And I would love to see what Eric Bieniemy would do with him, you know, being more so of that slot tight end, not that inline blocking kind of guy, but more of a tight end that's going to line up in the Y. And he's going to be a great receiving threat. And I would love to have that. I think his market right now is like 8-9 mil a year, which he's definitely worth that. And once again, I don't want to pay Logan Thomas around that same amount this year. I think it's like 8.7 mil or something like that for the season coming up, almost 9 mil. For a guy that just doesn't look the same. I know he had injury. Someone said, you know, I'll give him another year. I just don't see it. He looked so stiff last year. I want a legit tight end one this next season coming up because, you know, not only because Eric Bieniemy went from Kelsey to Logan Thomas, John Bates, and Cole Turner, that's not a good linebacker room. And a lot of people really assume so and said, oh, don't forget about Mario Rodgers too, like whatever. No, you need a legit tight end one option. And Logan Thomas is not it anymore. Like blocking wise, he was getting blown up. Same with John Bates. He was getting blown up in blocking, and he was supposed to be like the blocking tight end. Had a couple of good catches, you know, touchdown here and there. And, you know, same with Logan Thomas, but it just looked so stiff. Like I don't see how people don't agree that a legit tight end one is a need for this team. Whether it's a Darnell Washington or a Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporta, there's just so many tight ends in this draft that have a tight end one potential. And I don't think anyone on our team has tight end one potential. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. I don't care how you're scheming it up. When I'm looking at skill set wise, I don't see it. Yes, you know, Dalton Schultz is out there. Like I said, Mike Gesicki's out there. I just don't see Washington spending that big money once again. I would love it. Like I would not be mad at all if they did get, you know, Dalton Schultz, or if they did spend finally and get, you know, Mike Gesicki, a legit tight end option that can score and make big plays downfield. I wouldn't be mad at it. I just don't think Washington will. I would love for them to hit the draft, get a big time guy, and, you know, whether it's a second, third, whatever. Because like I said, the tight end draft is really deep this year. But there is one more player on offense I have for the free agency wish list, and it is a backup quarterback. I can't stress enough how important a backup quarterback is in today's league, especially when you do have a guy like Sam Howell. Technically, he's going to, like, his rookie season is going to be next year. I don't count this last year as a rookie season. When you play the last game of the season, you're kind of just in the background, warming up, practicing, whatever. This season coming up is like his rookie season. So having a good, reliable backup quarterback that can come in and win games, that is proven that he could start when he needs to, I think that's important. And Taylor Heinicke is a free agent. It's not Taylor Heinicke. I think he was good before. When you talk about this offense and what he knew this offense, I was like, for Scott Turner kind of guy. Like, I'm done with the whole Taylor Heinicke thing. Like, if he came back on like a 4-year, 5-year, $4 or $5 million per year deal, like, okay, cool. Fan base loves him. I don't think that's good for right now. I think it's just like, hey, let's give Sam the reins and let's go for it. Let's get a good backup quarterback that can come in, God forbid something happens, or Sam just has, some growing pains, like someone that can come in, teach him a few things and just help him along the way. Someone that has experience. And I'm going after Jacoby Brissette from the Browns, 30 years old. Like I said, he's a proven backup quarterback that can win games. He's done it. It seems like everywhere he's gone, poor guy. He's just come in and just a really good dude. Like, I love watching his interviews, love hearing him talk after games and stuff like that. He's just a really good, like, genuine dude who just wants to help the team out. And, with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, he came in, got the opportunity to start. I want to say he had 14 total touchdowns and 6 interceptions this year, but had a lot of just big time moments where, he had to make some big throws, had to win some games, and they've had some injuries and stuff like that the Browns were dealing with this past season. But Jacoby Brissette is just a really good option to come in, and a lot of teams want Brissette as that backup quarterback. You don't want the 49er situation to come back and bite you in the butt where you don't have, say you're in the playoffs and, your starting quarterback does get hurt. You're not rolling Josh Johnson back out there, which we've done before, literally Josh Johnson or Mark Sanchez or something like that, and have to deal with that. You need a quarterback that knows what he's doing, can go out in the in-game situations and know how to win a game. So let me know what y'all think. Like I said, I didn't put some crazy name in here. I don't see us spinning big like Orlando Brown or something like that. Yes, it'd be nice. It'd be exciting, but I just want Washington to get one of these linebackers and, a Jacoby Brissette or one of these offensive linemen that can start and, a good value pick. We're not paying them 20 something mil a year, 24, 25 mil a year or something crazy. And just getting a starter in free agency, someone that has experience, and then going into the draft saying, look, we can draft the best player available. Yes, we do have some holes still with the offensive line or with linebacker or corner, tight end, whatever, and we can draft how we need to. I like getting a few really good guys in free agency, not just throwing the bag at some guy and then it turns into a giant mistake, like I said, like William Jackson III, and that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you do sign some really good free agents, but let me know what y'all think. Let me know who I should have added to the list. Someone that you're really looking at, whether it is a value pick or maybe you do want to swing big. So drop it in the comments and stay tuned. Free agency starts on Wednesday, and I have a ton of stuff that I'm doing, not only on the channel, but on Twitter. So at Josh Taylor FB. Y'all have probably seen some of my graphics I've been doing. Got some different ones for free agency. Got some trade ones together. So just really sick stuff. Appreciate y'all checking out this video. Like I said, like, subscribe, and stay tuned to Taking Command with Josh Taylor here on the JTFB channel. See y'all next time.